Yo, Bootleg Kev podcast, very special episode. All three of these guys in the same place doing an interview. Have you guys ever done an interview all together?
No.
Generation Now, man.
No,
Don
sir.
Cannon, DJ Drama, the homie Lake. Appreciate you guys for pulling up, man. Well, I pulled up on y'all actually, so.
Appreciate you pulling up.
Yeah, listen, man, like
here.
I've been obviously wanting to talk to Drama for a long time. But I think it's so dope to have all three of you guys here. I heard that this is the first time you've been in the studio for a long time.
Since March.
Damn.
You feel very special.
Yeah.
Damn.
Very
Should
special.
feel special.
That's and
I had to come out for Kev.
I appreciate that, man.
I would get ghosts most of the time.
So much. I got so much shit I want to like dive in with you guys on because I know you've been. A lot of people don't know. Like you're kind of the man behind the scenes that people probably know the least. So kind of break down who you are, what you do.
Damn, you want me to start?
Woo!
Start your mom.
They know these guys. These guys are, you know.
Yeah, no, they do what they do. I mean, and I like it that way. I don't even know how to describe it, man. I feel like I'm just like the third piece of the puzzle, you know, that kind of makes the wheels turn behind the scenes, you know. We like to describe it as like Cannon's the music, Drum's the face, and I'm the business. So we'll just put it that way.
So you handle the business.
To an extent.
Don't
Gotcha.
be modest, though. Give him some of your history.
Break down a little bit. Yeah, just run through a nice little quick rundown.
Started off managing people. Used to work with Freeway. Worked with the state property guys for a minute. Worked with Bobby Valentino. Worked with Drum. Worked with Mace. Actually, that's what I started with.
Oh, you started with Mace?
Started
What
with
year?
Mace. This is the Welcome Back era.
Oh, okay.
So that's the first person. To
Was
get
that
the
the
opportunity?
wait? Welcome. So that was that the album where he had the Brewers hat on the cover?
That is the hat, the Brewers hat cover. Yeah. So you know, been around. Been working with these guys ever since we actually all went to school together. Well, they went to Clark, I went to Morehouse, which is like right next.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And if ever been to a nightclub that DJ Drama's DJ'd at, he's there
Yeah.
At all times.
passing out shots
Possibly.
to strange women. Nonetheless,
With a blunt in his hand.
with a blunt in his hand for sure. No, I mean you guys have obviously done something special with Generation Now. I feel like Drum, like you being who you are and being a DJ and like successfully, and we're not just talking about successfully doing the label shit. Like we're talking about like Uzi's one of the biggest fucking artists of the last decade. Jack Harlow's a superstar right now. So like not only are you like doing your thing, because with your connections you could do your thing with whoever is on your roster, but to like really be like a prominent source of new talent in the music industry, it's just impressive, man. Like you guys have built something really special.
No, I appreciate that. It's very rewarding, like, like just to think about my career and the successes I've had as a DJ and, we've had as a coming up as the affiliates and
Yep.
Putting things together and projects and doing it and just really elevating and, in some senses it feels like reinvention, and just even somebody brought it up today, like, or I put a tweet up that I just found on Twitter, and this guy said, he said, DJ Drama really went from T.I. to Jeezy to Uzi to Jack Harlow. That's crazy, and I was like, it was like the highest praise for me, how I felt,
I mean, shit, dude, I tweeted later last year, you're the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I forgot about that. You did. That was an interesting convo.
Yeah, I was watching that Versus, and I was like, yo, like, Drama's got his hands all over this entire, like Atlanta is arguably the most important city in, like, it's New York, obviously.
For sure.
But Atlanta is where everything is. The culture starts here, and everyone else follows Atlanta, and it's been like that for 15 years?
I'd say even maybe 20.
Maybe 20, right?
I feel like Atlanta's had the most dominant run in hip-hop over.
And, like, I just don't feel like anyone has ever had more moments and influence and just has been a part of more history than you.
Good looking.
And by the way, amazing DJ as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah. We try to cover all grounds, all capacity, and it's just like it really is because I love this shit. Like I've been doing it for so long, and you know, I and we try not to get comfortable on what we've accomplished already. And then, you know, just like being able to navigate and, you know, being a DJ, it's like, because we play music and we've been able to navigate through hip hop through a lot of times, it's like, you know, that keeps me on a cusp and keeps me like really addicted to new shit, like at all times, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, it's my DJ hat has been very helpful in, you know, the career as an executive and, you know, finding and, you know, helping new talent and, you know, turning it into what we did.
And of course, you know, slew of hit records in your own right, you know.
For sure.
A lot of them.
And then you guys, I'm curious too, because I was just talking with Seti Hendrix, and what I appreciate about Generation Now is you guys truly, like, every artist really is getting it out the mud. Like, it's not like there's not a fucking magic switch to hit. Like, people really think Jack Harlow's a new artist, but if you've been tapped in, like, he's been doing his thing with y'all for like 3 years.
Yep.
And, you know, and the same thing with Seti. Like, I think that, like, the work is what kind of, you know, I feel like you guys are very conscious of the work, like, and making sure, like, hey, look, it's not as much, because you guys could probably sign whoever. You know what I'm saying? But you guys definitely take the long way. Like someone like Jack Harlow, who it's not like he had a buzzing single and you guys grabbed him up and then just, you know, threw some gasoline on the fire. You guys built the fucking fire from the jump. So talk about that, like, just your guys' like talent process. Like, what is it you got to see in an artist to want to bring them over to Generation Now? And the same thing can be said about Uzi too, by the way.
What do you see in an artist?
Conviction. Inspired artists. A lot of artists come to you, they're not inspired. You know what I mean? They just don't have a vision. They just want to rap. And I personally just, you know, me and Dron working so long, we've known it. You know what I'm saying? We've known when we've seen people with conviction. The people that used to be at, you know, 532 Glen Iris was like his house. That was the hub for all this. You know, that's where Dron was at.
That's where Gangsta Grillz was born.
And we used to just watch so many people. Like we watched David Banner come in a white van and be like, yo, I'm not leaving until I get a Gangsta Grillz. Or, you know, Paul Wall came down here and we used to do Houston Latex New York parties and he used to be like rapping. You know what I'm saying? Certain people, they eyes just tell it all for them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happened to a lot of artists. Like Jack came in, that was the eyes, you know, Uzi, even Seti. Like a lot of the artists, you just know, just that feeling like, oh, they going to do whatever it takes to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's...
they all have that in common. Like, that's one thing I could say about
Killer instinct.
Definitely the three of them, you know, and when it comes to Generation Now on the label, when I think about Uzi, Jack, and Seti, like, their passion and their, like, I'm going to get there. Like, all three of them have that instinctively and, like, to 1,000th degree.
Yeah, I saw something on Twitter. It's like you can't want it more than your management or your label wants it.
Oh, nice.
Because then you're wasting everyone's time. And I feel like a lot of artists, like, you'll meet that are fire, and, you know, shit just doesn't work out. And it's really like they're lacking in that. They're doing music because they can, not because they want to. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, take me back to 2007, man. Because listen, I got a drama. I got to thank you and you, Cannon, because I made so much money selling Gangsta Grillz mixtapes from the time I was 16.
That's why the name Mr. Thanksgiving came from. Because
I used to go on all the message boards, download all the tapes, go on mixunit.com, steal the artwork.
Fire.
I had the fucking printer at the crib. Print, go to the Office Max, get the jewel cases.
That's a good old days.
How much you think you made?
Dude, every weekend I was at least, I was like 17, bro.
Yeah.
Like at the SWAT meet, I had my little space at the SWAT meet. I was probably making like a rack a weekend. So
That's great.
it's $5 a tape,
That's
or,
fire.
or 5 for 20. Yeah, it was drama. It was you and the Southern Smoke shit. Just that shit.
Shout out to Smalls.
Smoke.
Yep.
G Unit Radio, of course, as well. But yeah, it you know, the mixtape era was so special, and it was like, there was just something about it that I don't know if we'll ever get back. But you know, you're the biggest mixtape DJ of all time. But when you got arrested, I remember buying I bought a free drama shirt off of
Get out of here.
off of Mix Unit. First time I ever met you, I was wearing it actually in Phoenix.
So when we met, wasn't it like right after it was the same? It was 2007, right?
I met you when I was like a scrub in Phoenix. Yeah, I was working at a radio station.
So maybe it was a year. It might have been my like second album promo run or something.
I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember.
It was probably 06, 07.
It was after.
It was after. Yeah,
it was after the raid happened.
So yeah,
but it was like right after. So
right
it was
after.
or maybe it was like Super Bowl was out there or something.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
it was Super Bowl.
Because I remember that. It was like a couple years, maybe right after that.
But yeah, man, like that moment when you got raided and you got arrested. You got arrested. Yep. You didn't get arrested. Were you around then?
Nah, but I'm gonna tell you something that's crazy though. I was on my way to the studio. I was in the car with Freeway. We were actually on our way there.
And mind you, we weren't we've been friends since college, but it's not like we saw Lake every day. So
right.
Let's put that in perspective.
Right. So this is a day that I was actually about to come over there.
Just so happened to be coming over there.
Yeah, we're gonna pull up. I don't know if we were working on a mixtape or working on something, but we were gonna stop over there. And
remember Mace was there the night before because
Mace.
We was working.
I brought Mace over there the night before, and we had actually took pictures to do a mixtape that they were supposed to do, and that never came out.
Mace and Drama.
Yeah. And we drove by, and we saw that shit, and we kept going. And honestly, we thought it was happening to the studio that was next door, and, because it was a studio literally next door to Drum Studio. And we thought that was getting raided, so we was like, man, we just gonna keep it moving, you know.
Wow.
We weren't riding too cool at the time either. So,
yeah, I feel like that's one of those historical moments that kind of changed so much in you know the hip hop culture, man. And it kind of was like the beginning of the end of the mixtape era.
Yeah, of the era,
as how we know it,
for sure, as we know it.
Where you could just pull up. I mean, and obviously, you know,
things were changing. It's interesting looking back on it because, like, you know, everything literally went digital after that.
Yeah, after that, it was straight to the Z Share link, and you had to download, and then Dat Piff came along.
And then I also feel like after that, the change really came in, like, how artists were putting mixtapes out because, you know, you got to think about right after that, that's when, like, Wiz and Cole and Kendrick and Drake and they all were dropping.
It was all original music,
but they were still like mixtape form. So
they were still technically mixtapes, didn't count against their deals. Yeah, like that was like, I feel like what happened with you guys kind of kicked off that whole era of almost like it was the mixtape era and then the blog era.
The blog era, yep. The blogs became the new mixtapes.
Yeah, so when you get arrested, you get raided. Like what's the thought process, man? And did you have any idea that could happen?
Nah, I really didn't. I never in a million years would have thought that. I mean, one, because we felt like darlings of the industry in a lot of ways. Like we were hot. Like I was on fire. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, we were also in bed with so much of the music industry with all the labels, not only from being DJs, but then, you know, from labels were paying for Gangsta Grillz, and, you know, I had an album deal at Atlantic at the time. So, when it all went down, it was like, yeah, our minds were blown. Like I, in a million years, never, like you said, I thought they were coming for the studio next door on some shit. I didn't think they was coming to get me. And even when we first like went through the motions, I didn't comprehend it, you know. And it's so weird because there's so many like different theories or reasons how and why it happened. You know what I mean? But regardless, it changed the whole game, and like it literally changed the game overnight. You know what I'm saying? And the mixtape game was totally different after that. And it was the top of the food chain. So a lot of niggas who was doing what we were doing were like, yo, if they go get Drum and them, like,
now I remember they got like Big Mike, and they got some guys back then. Yeah.
But not like that. I don't feel like anyone's situation.
They made an example of you guys because you were the biggest. Sure. Yeah.
Like it was crazy. So, but I mean, and you know, it also made us more famous than ever, you know. Facts. So it was like it kind of set up for the first Gangsta Grillz album, and so I mean, you know, looking back on it, it's like who knows how shit would have played out in our careers if that may not have happened. But you know, another part of it too was like I felt a lot of guilt at first when that shit happened, because I felt like, damn, this shit, like this, here's a culture that I like grew up like loving, and like, you know,
and you're the guy who got it.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, this shit's gonna die on my shoulders. Like I felt terrible for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So I remember even when I like first did the Gangsta Grillz, or like when I did the tape, when me and Wayne did Dedication 3, it was like, I can't let this shit down on my dime. Like, you know, I'm letting all the guys who came before me down. So to see where quote unquote mixtapes are now today, or just even, because I feel like it was a phoenix that arose from that. Like if you look at it now in whatever form, mixtapes are bigger business than they ever were. You know what I'm saying? And
Well, yeah, now they're fully monetized
100%
in the artist's favor.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know,
I do miss like the energy of like, you know,
it was
the
different.
remixes and the freestyles and shit.
Yeah, and it was just different. And now it's like even when people drop mixtapes to a certain degree, unless you get all your everything cleared, like it's just, you know, with all due respect to the mixtape sites, is everyone wants to be on all the DSPs. Like I don't even want, you feel what I'm saying?
I
like,
still
it's
haven't
just,
even like tapped
tough.
in with the Wayne tape. Because I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
see what I'm
downloading,
saying?
like I'm like, you know, like.
Because it's not on the DSPs
Yeah,
like we
like-
want it to be. And at the time when we were doing it, it was like everyone, there were no DSPs. So it was like everyone had to have whatever Gangsta Grillz.
Yeah, so
tapes we
back
were
then,
putting out.
right, give me the process. So you do a Gangsta Grillz, and for people who don't kind of understand like how tapes circulated back then and kind of what you got, like you were actually like, were you wholesaling tapes out from your headquarters?
Yep. Yeah, we was wholesaling them out from the headquarters, and then we had a whole system. Shout out my man Jason Brown. We would wholesale them out from the studio. Then, you know, also the mixtape sites would do what they do, and then who knows what the bootleggers was doing. So they, you know, from Canal
So
Street
like a
to-
mix unit was like a big site, right? Would
Mix
mix
Unit
unit
was the
buy
biggest
stuff
one.
straight from you?
Yeah, they would. They would buy straight.
That's
from
Clinton.
us.
Was that Clinton Sparks' website?
Yep,
Yeah.
Clinton.
Yeah, because I always wondered like, it's you know, the whole idea of a mixtape is kind of bootleg anyway, right? But then
Facts.
you would kind of know when you'd get like the official joint because it'd have like the black writing on it and
On the CD, right?
yeah, or it have you'd kind of know, you know what I'm saying?
Writing. Yeah.
Yeah,
CD
yeah.
spot writing, yeah, for sure.
So you guys just kind of had your own little distribution
Oh yeah,
system.
we was killing shit. Our shit was
Fucking
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, it was like
What was
Carter
your
Day.
like a wholesale, like if somebody, like what were you selling your tapes for?
It was
Wholesale?
like it was like $2. It would vary from like $2 to $4 depending on where the market was.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean that shit. I know how cheap it is, especially you guys probably had 25 CD burners going.
Yeah, and it'll probably cost us like 30 cents a CD or something like that. I'm trying to think of the cost.
Man, I used to go in that back room. Them interns would be back there putting them CDs together like New Jack City, bro. Just
Like
packaging them joints up, man. They had boxes filled.
Oh man.
Used to be able to go back there. I remember I used to go back there whenever I needed all of it. I'd just go back there and get the 25 hottest new mixtapes because they was doing one every other week between them three, between him, Sense, and Cannon.
Yeah.
There was one coming out every week. So you go over there, you got a Plies tape and every genre from, you got a Joe Budden mixtape, you got a Killer Mike mixtape.
Would you guys wholesale other people's tapes for them?
No, only affiliate. We only
Okay,
did affiliate.
so only
tapes.
affiliate shit.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I don't know if you know this, but so back in the day, we wound up meeting Kanye very early on, and we wound up getting some drops from him. He was on tour with Kweli at the time.
Yeah.
And we also, my man Damian Lemon used to work at Vibe magazine, so he had Kanye's College Dropout super early. So we had a copy of the album, and then Joe Budden was on his promo runs when Pump It Up first came out, and we got Joe Budden to host the tape. So at the time, me and Cannon was like, Kanye and Joe Budden didn't really feel Gangsta Grillz at the time.
Wow.
So it was like we need another mixtape series. Like, what should we call it? And we called it Generation Now.
Wow. Actually, I remember burning those CDs.
Yep,
And it was like almost like a tape that had just a bunch of new shit on it.
Yep. Generation Now was like our
Yeah,
side.
I used to burn those. Yeah.
Generation Now was our side tape if something didn't fit.
And like
Gangsta
I had
Grillz.
all y'all's names on it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember those. Damn, full
So
circle.
that's how long we've had the name.
Damn. Yeah, so Cannon, talk about how you and Drama initially linked up, like your guys' history.
We linked up in college. It's a good story because I used to kick it with my man Jabari Harris, right? And Jabari is one of my closest people in Philly, and he wasn't coming to Atlanta to school, and I was. And he was like, "Yo, when you get down there, it's a kid named Drum. He's dope. You need to get with him. He's already with the Roots and Bahamadia and just working with a lot
Shout out
of
to
people.
Bahamadia, man.
Shout out to Bahamadia.
Bahama.
And he was like, "You make beats, y'all should hook up." And my whole thought process was like, "He next to the Roots. Oh, I'm about to get him some beats." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I came to school. I met him on a prom night one time, and I gave him some beats. And I think he took it home And he came back, was like, yo, your beat's hard. You need to come by the crib and, you know, and work on some shit. And we went to the crib and worked on some stuff. I think he was, you know, rest in peace to Jackson and them guys over Fat Beats. Yeah, Binkus Records. But he was just like flooding my beats to people. You know what I mean? He was like, actually, he was my manager then. I remember that. Like, you know what I mean? And at that time, he was making beats also. If you could find that 32 beat CD, that's a classic. If you find his 32 beat CD. But yeah, he was making beats. I was making beats, and we was just kicking shit, man. It was times where I actually got kicked out of school, right? And I ain't tell my mom. She knows now, but I got kicked out of school, and I ain't had no place to live, and he kind of took me in, for a little bit, and I would go back and forth between him and Trendsetter had a duplex, and I would go back and forth to their crib if I got on his nerves.
You go over
there, vice versa. So until I got my my stuff together, so we went to the club. He was DJing clubs. I started going to club with him, and, taking the crates and just filling in, doing different things, and also. When we was making the mixtapes, we just was, putting the stuff together at the crib. We was just, his crib was the hub. I keep saying 532 Glen Iris, like that was the hub. It was just the shack where, he had a nice little room. Man, and everybody was in there. T.I. was rapping in the bathroom. Scrappy came by. Lil Jon came by. Anybody you think of. 2 Chainz before Chains was there. Monica. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It just was in this crib, and it was just a place to be. So I wouldn't want to be nowhere else. He had the records. He had like a whole wall of records. I was sampled.
It's a dusty little crib, too. It's not.
Yeah, it was the best of everything.
Nah, it's not even like a nice condo or nothing. Like, it's dusty.
She was in the hood.
Yeah, it was in the 4-4.
We eat good, eat good, go to music until it's time to, disperse and play our role with the hoes, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. So you obviously started as a producer. I always say this. You're like one of the most fire producers.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Like, yeah. Did like Drum convince you to start doing the mixtape thing as well, or was that something that just kind of naturally happened?
I actually. I started DJing when I was 5 years old.
Okay, so you are already DJing as well.
Yeah, so I grew up wanting to be Shaq. You know what I mean? When I was 11, I wanted to be in the NBA and make beats. Well, I was a rapper first, and then I was making beats.
Shaq, better point guard than Chris Paul.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah, but and then in high school, how I used to make my money, I was making mixtapes. My first DJ name was The Last Don.
Oh, wow.
And I used to just, I think they leaked Iron Man Ghostface early.
Oh, wow.
And I was like the first person to put on my mixtape. So I had that. Some underground dudes like Elder Head Toucher and all that stuff, and I used to put them on tapes, and I used to just move them through the high school because that's how I made money. I was the hustler in high school, so even if people owed me money, I would just get like, they'd bring their khakis. I'd sell the khakis to somebody or shoes, but the tapes was the main thing. But then when I got to Atlanta, I was like, yo, I need to get on some producing. You know what I mean? But the DJing came so wild because I was DJing on campus. A couple guys saw me and was like, yo, you need to come do Chili Pepper and all these clubs. And when I did those clubs, they was like, yo, you dope as hell DJing. And I just got gigs. So it just started falling in place. But we started rocking together. And it was some times where John was getting so hot on the mixtape game that I was doing a lot of the gigs. You know what I'm saying? He was just so hot. At a point, I think he was like, I don't even want to fuck with the clubs like that no more. I'm just, I'm over here.
Right.
And I just did a lot of the gigs. You know what I'm saying?
Could somebody
was doing tapes and
I was doing tapes too.
Like
in
the early years, like, and I'm not even talking about I'm talking about even when we was in college.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
Because I used to set up on campus. Canada did this tape called The After Party. I remember.
DJ Donnie Brasco.
Yep.
Donnie Brasco. That was my college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I used to hustle our tapes, myself, and
they are him and Trendsetter. I give them credit for me using my real name. For my whole life, I ain't even like my name. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, "Yo, Can On," and I used to be like, "Oh my god, it's just whack." You know what I'm saying?
Fire, though.
It turned out. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't like it for a long time. But I credit them for doing that.
In Philly for some time now, Cannon has been like a name people like. What's up, Cannon? But even before even before that happened. We was telling him like,
they would never call me by my name. They was like Cannon.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be like Donnie Brasco. This is like whack.
It's a fire name. Like, why would you not?
Hey, do you remember the beat that kind of changed your life as a producer?
What?
Oh man,
Go Crazy.
Yeah, I could say Go Crazy, but the one that I get the most accolades from the most people I would never thought I ever speak to was Cannon.
Lil Wayne.
Yeah, and that was the reason why is like I went across when I started traveling, bro. I was running into everybody like Premier and all these people, and it was like, "Yo, I need to holler at you," and I was like, "Oh, what?
Yeah, like when you made that beat, right? Like, was your like drop like did you make that beat like, or did you add that later? Like, what was the process of that record with Wayne?
I'm gonna tell you a story. So this is how it came about. When I did Go Crazy, A&R from Atlantic, I forgot his name at the time, but he was like, "Yo, I want you to go work with Trick Daddy in Florida."
No, Orlando did it. No, it wasn't Orlando.
That was Orlando.
Yeah, okay, my fault.
It was this guy.
Yeah,
I forget his name. But I went to Miami and I went to Circle House and I was busting my brain of what I can make Trick Daddy to feel like me and Miami at the same time. So at that time, I was like, "Come on, Ride This Train" was like, you know, a Southern bass record. Right. And I was like, "Yo, I'm going to East Coast this shit out." And how I wound up flipping it, Trick Daddy ain't really like it. You know, he was working on a Madonna record at the time.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was like Trick Daddy, he was going to strip club every day from like 11 in the morning to like 6 in the afternoon.
For Madonna?
It was, I think Madonna was on the hook or something.
Okay.
It was something.
That's wild.
Some huge shit, I think.
Trick was huge.
Huh?
He was popping.
Yeah, no, Trick was crazy. So my whole thing was like, I love Trick as a rapper. I was like, damn, I just wish he could come in the room and be like, "Yo, I don't like this, but I like that." But it just ain't work out that way. But I wind up leaving the stuff there. But it was a dude, Fiend, that was there. I don't know if you know Fiend.
From No Limit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fiend was
I just
right.
DM'd him today.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal writer. So he was like coming in the session
Slept on,
and loving
man.
everything I was fucking with. He was like, "Bro, I love that." He was the first person to do a Cannon hook. He went on there and was like, "I got the AK, I'm with the Cannon."
I didn't
that
know
was
that.
it. You didn't know that?
Nah.
I didn't either.
Bro,
I didn't know that.
he was the first person to use the drop. It didn't go all the way through like everybody, but he was like, "Yo, I got an AK with a Cannon." And I was like, "Oh, that's fire." But it never amounted to nothing, so I wound up taking the record back home. I think I gave it to him first.
Nah.
And yeah, you gave it to Busta.
No, remember because Orlando gave it to Bohagan.
Bohagan had it first.
Yeah,
If
Bohagan.
you remember Bohagan.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
EDT.
And then after that, it was Busta. And
and then Bustin' Tip.
Busta. I don't think Bohagan did Cannon, though. I think he rapped on it, but he didn't do the layout.
He might not have.
He didn't
but
do
it
the
just
layout.
had to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Busta did the layout.
yeah. Busta did it.
And-
Busta had it first.
Yeah, he went dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Busta
because there
put it
was
out.
different iterations of that record, I remember.
there's a
Yeah,
couple of them.
he
Yeah.
went dumb, and then he wound up giving it to Wayne, and then Wayne just went stupid. The craziest thing is people don't know is Wayne rapped the whole beat. He rapped 3 minutes long. We had to make the verses because he just wouldn't stop. You
So
know
he
what I
just
mean?
he just is in the booth.
He rapped the whole thing straight. I
So-
still got that version too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to Miami. It was when Khaled was shooting Holla at Me,
Okay.
and everybody went to Miami for that video. And we were dedication. I was gonna go to Circle House to go pick up Dedicate. That's crazy because that's where the beat was made too. But I was going to Circle House to go pick up the music for Dedication too, and it was that same night. And then I went over there and I was like, "Yo, I got this beat my man made, like, just see if you fuck with it for the tape." And that was the last song he did for Dedication too. And he spazzed and like the next day gave it back to me.
Yeah, that was the whole making of that. And people don't really know that story. But I try to tell that story because that was like a magical mistake. You know, when I was making that record, it was like, oh, Go Crazy was the same way. When I made Go Crazy, it was for an artist we had named Willie the Kid.
Oh, shout out Willie the Kid.
Yeah,
Grand
Willie,
Rapids
shot to
own.
Willie. Yep, shot to Willie. And I think I was making it watching Dead Presidents.
Was
and
that
I
y'all's
just got
first
inspired.
artist?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wound up giving it to him, and T.I. rapped on it. But he didn't. I wound up giving Willie another beat because we couldn't get it right. Something happened. We couldn't get that record right for him, so I gave him another beat, and then that went to drum. And and that's
Yeah.
the
Go
history of
Go
it.
Crazy. Is one of those ones, man. It's like, how crazy was it when you heard Jay-Z's remix?
I was about to say his first beat out the gate.
Hove's on the
fucking
remix.
Jay-Z.
It was crazy because I remember Coach K like, "Yo, got something for you. Got something for you." I'm like, "Man, whatever you talking about." I didn't know what it was going. I thought it was going to be like a Jeezy and a couple other people that, And when he said Jay-Z, I said, "All right, I'll wait to hear it when I believe it." And to this day, I think Jay-Z performed it at
Birthday bash.
Birthday bash.
Yeah, I forced scanning to come.
Yeah, and I wouldn't come, but I came.
I was like,
and
yo,
I had
bro,
a loaf
it's coming.
of bread in my throat when I seen all the
was
people. I
crazy.
said, "Oh shit, it's real."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. We was just, you was having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just, everything we did was fun. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's crazy, man. Yeah, that record is like one of those ones. It's like I remember like first time I pressed play on that CD. That was the one record. Because I'm like a boom bap hip hop head, and that record was like, it was like hearing Jeezy in a different light. You know what I'm saying?
That was one thing that I did strategize. I was like, yo, because Go Crazy Original had brick beat drums on it. And I was like, how can I get this sound and him together to make it that? And I always wanted to sit in front of like him and Jay in a conversation. It's like, yo, what did you hear Jeezy do that made you want to do 64 bars of classic verse? Because Jay does a verse. He does some special verses, but that one was just
long.
like, it was different. You know what I'm saying? So I was just trying to figure out, like, what did Jeezy say on there that made you like, oh man, I got to go crazy? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I just, going through that whole that whole process was fun because we was just doing us. I don't think we had objective to make money, but I think at that time I was just happy to be a part of something.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Back then, like when Gangsta Grillz was the hottest shit, right? Could a label pay you to do it? Like let's say it was an artist that was you didn't know about. Could they cut the stimulus check?
Most definitely, and they did plenty of times.
What
you got to think too. At the time, I mean, it may be a little different now, but even there are artists like Yo Gotti's an example of that. Like the first tape we did together, he paid me, and he had just got signed. So these are still artists that are like, we know of today. You know what I'm saying? That the labels were still cutting checks for. So it would vary. Like they would come from all avenues. What was you about to ask though?
No, I was gonna say what was the biggest what was the going rate?
It got up to like 25,000-30,000.
Damn.
Like a tape. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And then so give me so something like the Little Brother Gangsta Grillz,
Right.
which was so dope because
One of my
Little
favorites.
Brother's obviously from the South,
Right.
but they kind of, it's crazy because back then, I feel like we really separated types of hip hop
100%.
so much more than we do now.
Yeah, they told me it wasn't gonna make sense when I did that tape.
Like now, like people can work with each other. And people don't even bat an eye at it. Back then, like I remember like how crazy it was like when you heard Talib Kweli and Jay-Z on a song
100%.
together.
Absolutely.
Like, and so you
Kanye bridged a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kanye had a lot to do with it. But you doing the Gangsta Grillz with Little Brother,
Right.
was that your idea? Was that the label coming in?
No, that had nothing. That was me and Lil Brother. I mean, I had been a fan. Like we're hip hop heads too, so you know what I'm saying? I've been a Lil Brother fan, and when I remember we ran into each other. They had a show at Yin Yang Cafe here in Atlanta, and I went to go see him, and we talked about it on the bus. And it's looking back on it, like again, Little Brother tape and the Pharrell tape. Like when I did those
Pharrell tape was
tapes,
crazy.
like though at the time, Gangsta Grillz was still known for like T.I., Jeezy, Wayne, Bun B. So it had a certain style to it, or it was like street music. You know what I'm saying? So I remember people being like, "You gonna do a Gangsta Grillz with who? Little Brother, Pharrell?" And I was like, "Watch this." And like even for me, like that was getting back to my roots to be able to do something with them. You know what I'm saying? So they them being a fan and me being a fan, it was perfect. Like I was so excited to do those tapes too, to really just start branching out and going different directions too with the brand.
Yeah, and then like how many like you mentioned the Pharrell tape, which is fucking so fire.
Cannon actually ghost DJ'd that whole tape.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Ghost DJ.
But I'm just curious, like
he was on the road.
Like, did you kind of like
questionable
questionable
turntables? Yeah, I have questionable turntables. Yeah.
You and Pharrell, like you decided to do a Gangsta Grillz. Does he just handle all the creative, or are you sending him ideas, beats?
It was both. We were sending him ideas and beats, and he had a phenomenal outline of where he wanted to go with it. He definitely picked some incredible beats, and we gave him some. And what I used to do is I used to write out a script. I used to have a script, and it basically was like literally like me interviewing the artist, and that would kind of give me a formula for the tape. So that's when I used to do interludes and have them talk and chop it up. Just kind of piecing that stuff together. Like so yeah. I mean, and again, I met Pharrell when Tip was on house arrest, like before we did Down with the King, so we had gotten acquainted then, you know, so he was familiar with me early on in my, like, in that part of my career. So then, you know, he kind of touched back and was like, yo, I love what you're doing. Like, we got to do it. I mean, to this day, it's the only mixtape he's ever done, you know, and it's just, you know, us being fans, like, it was monumental. Like, and no, that's a tape too. Like, you know, I meet a lot of kids today, not even kids anymore, but, you know, they'll be like, yo, that Pharrell gang, like, the same way, like, the Jeezy and a Wayne tape is to some, that's how, you know, a different cloth is to the Pharrell tape per se. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, all classics. We got nothing but fucking classics under our belts.
Talk that shit, Jerome.
Talk your shit. Talk that shit.
That's crazy.
Man.
A lot of them.
Yo, we're breaking down this video. We're not breaking it down. We're taking a break in the video to tell y'all about our sponsors, Odd Socks. All right, listen, man, oddsocksofficial.com. What the fuck was that, bro? It was like a fucking Pomeranian hair floating in the air. Anyway, oddsocksofficial.com. Keyword Bootleg Kev. Go over there, get you some socks, and you'll save 20% off if you use that keyword. They got South Park license. They got some Ghostbusters, Pimp C, Mike Tyson. Really, the one that I really care about is they got that WWE license, so you can get these awesome NWO socks. And then they got their Odd Socks Basics. You know, for all the basic bitches, get you some basic socks, even though they are very comfortable. They're probably the most comfortable socks. Actually, not probably, definitively the most comfortable socks I've ever put on my feet. Yes, all right? And that goes for all types of socks. So go to oddsocksofficial.com, get some socks. By the way, SpongeBob socks, they're kind of fly, right? Christmas time's on the way. Use the keyword Bootleg Kev, 20% off, oddsocksofficial.com. Support us by supporting Odd Socks. Let's go. When did you realize, or like you guys as a crew, like that Gangsta Grillz was like the brand? Like what? Like I know that like the early tapes, but like what was the one like the one that like do you remember that moment where you were like?
It was levels. I mean, yeah, it were levels because shit. I think about like Gangsta Grillz 6. We had like Bone Crusher, David Banner, and Killer Mike hosting. It was like we wound up seeing nothing but boot. Like when Get Rich or Die Trying came out, we wound up finding this like bootleg spot in the Tuck in the West End, and we literally saw like Get Rich or Die Trying's walls full, and then Gangsta Grillz 6 walls full. So
It was almost like flattering they bootlegged your shit.
100%. Like it was the most flattering thing ever. I was ecstatic. So then there was that level. Then there was like the T.I. the T.I. meets Gangsta Grillz in the Streets was literally the first tape that was just one artist. You know, before that it was just like compilations. It was a mixtape. So then it was that level that we knew, okay, there's something. I remember, you know, them even telling. I remember we went to like Mix Show Power Summit that year, and I was thinking about taking more of my neo soul tape than I was the Tip tape. And Sense and Cannon were like, "Nigga, you bugging? Like, the fuck are you talking about?" That's just how hype I was, just on the automatic, like a whole nother series I had. But
Right.
then there was
I can't even imagine you like talking your shit over some Neo Soul.
Automatic relaxation. That's what that shit was
Here's some
called.
trivia. What was the first Gangsta Grillz? Not the first Gangsta Grillz tape. What was the first name?
how was it Jim Crow Laws?
That was one.
And then How the South was one.
That's another.
Yeah, How the South
How the
was
South was one. That's when we knew it was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Like even from the college day, yeah, because it was moving. Like that was
Yeah.
our first South tape.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously the Tip Down with the King, that was a big tape that started garnering some more attention. That was, you couldn't go nowhere, especially in Atlanta. And
Is that the one that had Jack and for Beats on it?
Yeah, that was the one that had Jack and for Beats on it.
Jack and the Beats. That's still my favorite. That's like peak T.I. MCing right there.
Mm-hmm. He was going crazy. And then Jeezy, what's the first? Streets is Watching, the first Jeezy tape. And that was like, you know, Jeezy, before Jeezy was Jeezy, Gangsta Grillz was Gangsta Grillz. So, you know, that tape was like the first of its kind, where it was like, it was an artist that no one was really familiar with compared to like a Tip tape or a Bun B tape that came before that. And then obviously like Trap or Die is like the world changed. Like everything was different. So yeah, I would say going up to that level, that was those couple tapes to figure it out.
Initially, doing that first tape with Jeezy, was that like, did you guys have an organic relationship? Was it like, how did that initially start?
So the crib that he's talking about, 532 Glen Iris in the 4th Ward, our neighbor around the corner was Coach K.
Okay.
So we met Coach when we moved into the neighborhood, and he befriended us early, and we befriended each other. He had this group called Jadis. Bobby Creekwater was actually in the group. We wound up signing to
Shady, right?
To Shady, yep. And then, you know, we were all...
Puller.
Huh?
Slick Puller.
Slick Puller. Oh, for real? Oh, okay. So Slick was there.
Slick Puller, yeah.
Yep.
He was one of the original rappers, too, that he had. Yep.
So then we, you know, Coach was telling us about, you know, this new artist he had. And Jeezy's first project was actually called Come Shop With Me. And he had this van.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. He's like in the jersey.
Yeah, he's in the jersey.
I remember buying it from...
When he used to sound like Trick Daddy.
Wow.
And then, so we knew, so yeah, it was pretty organic. You know, he came to me, and we met at this restaurant called Harry and Sons, and, you know, he pretty much told me his whole vision. Like, this, you know, the streets is really fucking with you, Drum. Like, you know, I don't even know if you realize how much the streets is fucking with you. And, you know, he told me the movement in the campaign, and yeah, it was definitely, it was really organic. I mean, even interestingly enough, you know, it's Atlanta too, so, you know, Lake was running in the Carbon 15 around the same time, and was telling
him,
early in the game, yeah, telling me, yeah, I got my man Jeezy, and I'd be like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? And Drama be telling me about it.
I actually met him too in a different occasion. I was in my dorm, and I used to have a window, and my DJ setup and producing setup was in a window, and he used to come and mess with this shorty that was my next door neighbor, and he ran by my window one time, and he was like, "You make a beat, fire," you know what I'm saying? Give me some beats, but it never turned into nothing because we wound up meeting a little later. Right. He always reminds me of that, by the way. Like,
that's crazy.
I knew you was making beats in your fucking dorm, nigga.
That's crazy.
He did say that not too long ago. I remember that.
Yeah, he reminds me.
I didn't remember what he was talking about.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. He's always had bread, and I was like, well, who is this cat, bro? And I used to look. I used to come out the door, and I look. He had like this 645, some crazy shit. And I'd be like, okay. Wow. He's something.
Yeah, you know, that costs money.
Yeah, we wound up seeing him a little later, and I was like, oh, okay, that's the dude that.
And he used to come to Club Envy all the time too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Get his record played, that Trick Daddy record.
Yeah.
He used to break bread to get that record played.
Yo,
hustling for a long time.
What's the craziest BMF party or event you guys? I've heard stories about these parties that are
legendary,
insane. What's the craziest thing?
Each birthday.
Yeah, Meech's birthday party.
Nothing's fucking with it to this day.
There was a Magic City party where I literally saw regular women turn into strippers. Like,
shout to Hannah King for blowing that party. Was crazy.
Yeah,
Hannah King's the
I
GOAT.
heard he used to have like animals.
Yeah, it was Hannah put that together.
The invitation. Remember, you opened it up and it talked to you. It was like a diploma, like it came wrapped like in a diploma. You opened it up, and then I think it was Blue Da Vinci. Like, yeah, come to hang with Big Meech of the Jungle. I was like, what the fuck?
What was there? Was it lions or giraffes?
Tigers, and bears.
It was giraffes.
Giraffes.
Real.
Yeah,
it was all types of shit. Yeah, it was
they got
tigers.
giraffes there.
They had giraffes.
They had everything. Yeah, no, it was a legendary time. I mean, just even, you know, like, and we're talking about one of the craziest, but like just on a regular night of Visions on a Tuesday, or was it Thursday, whatever the night, or both of them, you know, them niggas would literally come in and be like 50, 100 deep, and everyone would have a bottle. Like, this is like early. It was just a different time. Like, nothing was like that era, you know.
Yeah, I remember one specific time I was DJing off night, and I think it was What It Do Pimpin'. I think it was either Jeezy and Bun B. Mm-hmm. And one night I played it, and it was like, every time you play that joint, we're gonna put $100 on the table. Man, I think I left with $3,500. I'm not even lying.
Oh,
I'm not even lying. I think for a fact, every time they was like this. Every time I ran it back, they was just dropping it like this. And I was like, oh shit, this is real. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't
hope y'all like this motherfucking song.
I probably was making $250.
Yeah,
you know, for the whole night.
The first time,
the
first time I ever saw any real money was because of BMF. Like, so
LA trip?
No, but even before the LA trip, I was doing Gangsta Grillz. I think it's still when it was like regular Mixtape, And I asked Blue Da Vinci, like, yo, do you want to sponsor a tape? Like, you know, I put a song on, I put your logo on and everything. He was like how much? I was like, you know, like 8, you know what I mean? Something. He was like, 8? I got this, no problem. I'm thinking $800. You know, he literally takes me to a crib and gives me $8,000. Like, I'd never seen that type of money at the like that shit. I had that $8,000 for, like, I literally had the cash and I had it in my closet maybe for about a year. You know, I was still making okay money, but never where I had gotten that $8,000
chunk of money at once.
Yeah, at one time. It was like it blew me away.
Wow.
Blew me away. Yeah, it was a shout to those guys, man. Shout to Blue, shout to me, shout to T. You know, I mean, it was just it was a special time in Atlanta. I correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but isn't that the era where throwing money in the air comes from?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Making it rain comes from fucking
absolutely
from that era. Like,
and if it didn't, I'm gonna give it to him.
Yeah,
because I've been in so many like DJing strip clubs where it was piles of money this high, bro. I'd never seen nothing like that. Him, JD, Nelly, them, they all. It was different. It was different, bro.
What was different? What did people do in the strip clubs before we made it rain? Like, I don't even remember. Like, how did the transaction go?
That changed the game. $20 dances, like lap dances, I suppose.
Yeah, like, it changed the whole culture.
I'm from the West Coast. We not, you know, we come from a culture where it's like we're not throwing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. You know, no, like it's amazing.
It's a couple dollars being thrown, but what they used to do, like the briefcases and trash bags, like, come on, that shit was
trash
legendary.
Bag thing was unreal.
Legendary.
Wow, that's crazy.
Legendary.
So, obviously, Generation Now, you guys' flagship artist Uzi.
Yeah.
He's from your hometown. How did you guys meet Uzi? I remember the first person that put me onto him was either Will from Taylor Gang or Ty.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds
about right.
Yeah.
I think it was Ty. I think I was in Boston with Ty, and we were in his room, and he was just playing shit off SoundCloud. And I was like, "What is this?"
That came from us being on tour and with those guys. Shout out to those guys. So
Ty's actually the first one to give Uzi a paid show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow,
like a real paid show in L.A. His first show in L.A.
You want to hear some crazy shit? In 2015, I had a birthday show that Burner was supposed to headline in Phoenix, and Burner couldn't show up. And Will was like, "Look, man, do you want me to get Uzi? Do you want me to try to get Uzi to do it?" And at the time, I was like, I don't know if these people would give a fuck who Little Uzi is. Because they're there. It was like a real, like, it was like Burner and Boz from Dream. It was like some rap shit.
Right.
I was like, I'll pass. Like, I like, don't make the call. You know, like, and what fucking idiot I am.
Crazy.
But like, how did you guys initially find Uzi?
Kenny started this off.
I was working at Def Jam. I was vice president A&R, and I wound up. A lot of people don't know this. When I was trying to DJ, I was trying to transfer over and doing EDM, DJing wise, and I got connected with this guy named Sujit. And
Scam artist?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And Scam, he represented me for about a year and some change, and he had me and Just Incredible. You know, I seen Just Incredible, fucking billboard. I mean, I was just like, holy shit, this is crazy. So I was like, yo, I want to get in this circuit. He was like, yo, I'm gonna put you on that same circuit. So I started doing Houston, Vegas, and Atlantic City. My first Atlantic City gig, I think it was at MGM or something. I had to fly into Philly and drive to Atlantic City. And when I drove to Atlantic City, I turned on the radio and I was listening to Diamond Cuts.
Yeah.
Diamond Cuts is a different story too, because I used to DJ for Miss Jade, and when I didn't go on the road with Miss Jade anymore, I seen Diamond Cuts one time. I was like, yo, you should take over what I'm doing. You know what I mean? With Miss Jade. And so when I'm driving down there, she's playing just in the mix show, and I heard songs called The Real Uzi. And I was like, yo, this sounds special. What is this? I called her immediately, like, yo, who is that? She was like, yo, it's this artist I'm working with named Uzi Vert. I was like, yo, I come back from Atlantic City, I want to meet him. Time went by, I didn't get a chance. But the next time you're in Philly, come up. Which is another weird situation. I lived in, this area called East Falls. It's right off of Ridge Avenue. They had a next door kind of little city called Manayunk. And I went home, and I was like, I want to meet this kid. He's probably in North Philly somewhere in somebody's basement recording some crazy shit, right? He's like, yo, they're in Manayunk. So I was like, oh, shit, that's walking distance from the crib. So I went to Manayunk, went to the studio, listened to some songs. He was in the studio just silent as a motherfucker, acting like he didn't know who I was. He was just being him. His guy, I forget the manager name. Damn, why I blocked? what's his man?
Buzz. Yeah.
Okay, Buzz was there. He was just, speaking for him. He just kept playing me crazy records. And I was like, yo, this shit crazy. So I go back to Atlanta. I tell them, like, yo, we could do this shit again. Because at the time, we wasn't really doing no record label stuff. Drama was building the studio. He was like, yo, I want you to see some shit that I'm building.
And you guys had, went down that road before.
Yeah, we did the affiliates. Yeah. And then I went to L.A., was trying to figure some things out. I moved there for like 18 months. Then like it, came back home. But me and John started communicating. He was like, yo, I want to show you something when you get back to Atlanta. I came. He was building Mean Streets 501, which is now the famous 501 Mean Streets. And I seen it, and I went in the studio, and he was just asking me about equipment. I was like, damn, you got to get this right mic. And you know what I mean? No speakers, we could do that. And, he had a radio room. And everything was getting built out, and it was just special. So I was like, damn, as we started working, and I was coming to the studio more regularly when he was doing stuff. And I was like, yo, I found this kid. We need to do this shit. I'm telling you, this shit gonna work. Right? And then we was like, shit, we all in. We never really told each other no on nothing. Mm-hmm. Right. But he was like, yo, this gonna win. And this is like our first time, like, as the three of us, because we're always like, Lake and Drum's relationship and ours was different. Me and Lake would meet up and talk forever. He would get me so much money on the mixtape side just hosting, and he would bring Freeway over to the crib and shit like that. And then they was doing some stuff, so we all combined it. You know what I mean? And then we finally got Uzi to Atlanta, and I think he recorded in January. He never left. He just stayed. Wow. He's like, I'm not going back home. You know what I mean? So that's how the whole play came together. And then we just worked on it from there. It was just,
What was like what was the Carnage record like his first like big look?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember that record like just going up in the club and not really being like I had heard the name because of Will, but I was like, oh shit, this shit is.
Yeah, and when I speak about conviction, think about it. When I was talking to him and trying to get him into the fold, he was already talking to ASAP Yams already. Mm-hmm. He was Kanye was interested through this kid named Charlie Heat. And yep. Charlie Heat was working with Kanye. He was trying to bring him there. ASAP loved him. Rich the Kid and him was in like a little space. So it was like, it was a lot going on at that time, while we was trying to figure out how we was going to do the deal. We still ain't had a name. I think we waited like 6 months trying to figure out what the name of the company was going to be.
Yeah, we did.
We was just like, name that shit anything, just sign them and let's go. We didn't, it was just just trying to figure it all out because it was so sudden. You know what I mean? Even at that time, I was trying to, even though we was doing it, I was going to take our situation and try to do it through Def Jam, and that didn't work out because there was just so much going on. I brought so much talent to Def Jam that just wound up not getting signed that I was just like, yo, it's time. I learned some stuff.
Can you like who?
I brought Rich Homie Quan.
Oh, man.
I told him about the Migos. I told him about Iggy Azalea very early. I actually tried to sign A$AP Rocky and the A$AP Mob, and when I couldn't get them because they was already getting ready to get committed, I seen that Iggy Azalea was there. She had a song called Pussy. It was like 2011. Mm-hmm. I sent the email. They was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Wound up getting signed later. Mm-hmm. It was just so much random shit that, I was just telling them about, and it just didn't work out. There was some, like, Dirk and Reese, there were some that we kind of, like, nurtured. Right. Logic. These are all the things that we call.
You helped bring Logic to Def Jam?
No, my guy Noah Preston.
Okay.
But we all were like, when we went to Cali, it was me, him, No ID. We're all like a hub, so we were just bringing things in, trying to work it. I think, who was it? Janae Aoki. We just had a mean team. We were like administration for so, you know what I mean? So when we were doing all that, I was learning so much. I was like, yo, we can do this because I already know how the buildings work. You know what I mean?
We're in the building, yeah.
Yeah, I knew for 3 years. I was like, oh, man, I learned so much. Let's go do this shit outside. You know what I mean? And I was just almost certain, Drum was at Atlantic.
I had just gotten over to Atlantic.
Yeah, he was at Atlantic, too.
It almost took, like, the finding the right artist to, like, Well,
we had tried to sign a couple other people, though.
Yeah, we did.
Initially, when we first got going, like, we had took a couple trips, and we had flown to see a couple people, and, like, we always had them, like, right here, and we would lose them at the last minute, and that's why we were so adamant about the Uzi thing. Like,
who did you? Anybody that we would know that you almost
absolutely, yeah. Like, I think the first one was OT Genesis.
OT.
Yes. We did Playhouse with OT one night, and I had known OT from a while back, and I ended up DMing him, and I think I overslept and I didn't end up checking my responses. And when I woke up and checked the next day, I think Busta had already hollered at him. So
Tried to sign Tory.
tried to sign Tory Lanez. Yeah, we met with Sasha early in the game, right at what's the name of the seafood spot? Right.
Steam House.
Steam House, yeah.
Steam House. Yeah, met with Sasha about Tory Lanez, the Migos.
Yeah.
You had Migos.
Wow. So you guys tried to. So because like I heard. So was Gucci the first person to like kind of find the Migos? Or?
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, because Gucci was already in business with them. I think like before he went to jail.
And so you guys tried to sign them prior to the QC thing happening?
It was around the same time.
Okay.
I mean, at the same time that I was like, we were in talks with them. They were also meeting with other people. So there were other entities in Atlanta, you know, that were interested and knew of them and everything. But you know, I mean, we had a great rapport with them early on. Like, you know, Quavo will tell you like the first time he's been in New York was, you know, I took him up there for a meeting. I had brought him out to Birthday Bash. The first time doing Birthday Bash was on my set early on.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, we definitely, you know, see what those guys became, you know what I'm saying, from those early years. But yeah, so it was because of those situations that we were like, yeah, we, you know, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? You all right?
I just joked on a candy.
Yeah, true, man.
And then, yeah, so I had been in Atlantic as a A&R maybe about a year and a half already, and you know, I was kind of trying to like find my way, you know. Kind of figured it out a lot differently than me, you know what I'm saying, just as far as like, you know, how I was going to maneuver, because Atlantic was trying to put me in with other artists that were already on the label.
Right.
And, you know, it was cool, you know what I'm saying? I had a good rapport, but it wasn't, you know, we finally kind of, when it was time to renegotiate, you know, they literally was like, it was kind of, you know, a little shaky. And it was like, listen, you know, they believed in me, you know, they knew that, you know, because of our rapport, you know, I had been signed there as an artist and everything, and just our relationships, they were like, listen, we want to give you another shot, you know what I'm saying? Let's figure this out. You take Mean Streets, you guys, you know, take Uzi, and we're just like, you know, let you guys figure out how you want to do it instead of us trying to put something on you. And we was like, bet, you know, and that was a perfect situation for us.
Off to the races.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, again, like, you know, I remember the first time we met Uzi was when we were on tour with Wiz, and we had a show in like the Philly, New Jersey area, and he came to the show, and I remember first day he got on the bus, he cracked on my jeans or some shit, like in classic Uzi fashion, you know what I'm saying? So, but you know, he always had that energy, and you know, he always knew, like, you know, he definitely had a vision. So
It was almost like he paid for some of that shit, but he didn't. Like when I was in Philly, I met him the first time meeting. We in South Street. He pull up in his truck. It's him and his cousin, big buff ass cousin. I'm like, yo, what they think? They about to beat me up or something? So we on the street, and he was like, yo, take a walk with me. So we walking, we talking, you know what I mean? We go in different stores, and he be like, oh, that's the kid Uzi. And I'm like, yo, no way. How do they know this kid? It was very early, but they was like, yo, I fuck with your shit. So it made me do a little investigation, and it was like he had already been doing like little things like rap battles and shit everywhere. So I was like, okay, that's how they know. Because I was going to the store, they was like slightly starstruck a little bit. This is early. Right. I'm like, wait, what's going on? That's when I knew. I was like, yo.
Yeah, like they're already fucking with him.
It is crazy because for a long time, bro, we always tried to get a Philly artist. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And this just happened to be the time to get a Philly artist. Everybody told us, yo, you got to get an artist from the South. You got to get an artist from the South. And we was like, yeah, we're open to it. And that just fell in our laps.
And somebody who's not like the traditional.
And that's what's even crazier about it is, you know, obviously we all know, you know, what Philly rappers sounded like before that, or what, you know, the perception was, you know what I'm saying? So when Uzi came along and he was just like, there was nobody else like him, especially from Philly. Like,
Tony,
it was
you want to grab me a water in there, dude? I got
one right here.
I got a half a damn cough drop stuck in my fucking throat. Wherever those red candies were. Yeah. Much better. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I wanted to ask, like, I just poured water on myself. What is the like current relationship with Uzi? Because, you know, I mean, everything's kind of been public that there's obviously some disagreements, and, you know, what is your guys' current relationship with him?
he signed a Generation Now. He pretty much does his thing, you know, and like we support it and allow it, and you know, are very proud of him.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much like the basic, you know, like record label artist situation. You know, he's at a state where he likes to kind of control his own creative thing, which he's always, you know, been a part of, other than Cannon being super hands-on. And pretty much he controls the timing.
Did the dynamic like change between everybody? Like when, like I mean, obviously, you know, I feel like you guys kind of brought him up in the game,
right?
And then there was obviously a disconnect that happened. Like
it's always human nature, you know what I mean? That's what happens. You know, you seen him with the best, you know, Dr. Dre and Snoop. Like there was no real problem, you know, to people put out there, but it's just like when you become an artist, you can, even me as a current producer, at some point when you have the success, you be like, yeah, I did this. You know what I'm saying? I did this something, you know what I mean? So I ran into those things where, you know, honestly, nobody know the story. In 2008, I was feeling myself, and I kind of left them out.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the cold, and I was just like, you know, obviously it was something between us that had nothing to do with them, but it was just like, man, I could do it on my own. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, I remember when you guys had your like little pause in y'all's relationship.
Yeah, and it was just like it was weird because this is funny. This is why I'm talking about it, but it was like we were throwing shots at each other on tapes, and we would see each other, and everything would be cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw them like multiple times, and I just always thought when we see each other, it's gonna be something. You know what I mean? I'm just with me. It's me and my cousin. It was 10, 12 deep. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And we were always cool. We see each other, and it would be cordial until, you know, me and Drum just sat down. I was like, I think we was at Jersey Mike's or something. We sat
we
down.
went to Jersey Mike's.
And by the time it was like, what we even talk about? It's just nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it always happens with this stuff. And, you know, as you make music, things happen. People want to do things.
I think with Uzi too, with our situation, is that obviously on our end, we would never have wanted any of it to play out in the public. You know, I think a lot of artists and record labels go through similar situations.
I feel like it's just kind of like a generational thing. Like the first thing when people get angry with,
it's a generational thing because of social media.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course.
That's how they
that's
express themselves.
That's how they express themselves. And, you know, from on our end, like, you know, we never really even went on a platform and, you know, defended ourselves or, you know, anything like that. And we didn't really want that. You know what I'm saying? And obviously we didn't want to be painted as no bad guys. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm sure his fans are crazy, right?
Oh yeah, it was killing. Social media. I had to take a pause. You know, thank you, Uzi. Like I definitely had to like get off for a quick minute. But you know, I mean, it's crazy. Just, you know, I don't get any of that anymore. But it's like, you know, we wanted to. We've been in this business so long. You know, our reputations are everything.
Of course.
So clearly, you know, I guess more than anything, you know, we let time tell. You know what I'm saying? And you know, more than, like, again, he's family. He's our artist. So, you know, we don't want anything but the best for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and always
you guys want him to be.
You feel what I'm saying? So it was like, for us, we just had to allow. You know, we just had to let it play out, and you know, fans are gonna say what they're gonna say, or people are gonna have their interpretation who don't know us per se, and you know, it is what it is. Like,
I think, did you guys get like a blunt of the blame from fans for Eternal Atake taking
a blunt,
all of it?
Absolutely.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What was like the story as to why it took so long? Like, if you don't mind getting into it, like,
what's the story, or why did it?
Like, why did it take so long? Was it you know? Because I think that
he literally put the album out when he wanted to. That's the craziest part about everything. Like, I tell
it wasn't
people,
like you guys were holding them up. And
I mean, this is the most basic thing that I tell everybody. Like, we are in the business of selling music. You know what I'm saying? So there is no benefit to us to hold anything.
Of course not.
Like,
yeah,
it's just not even logical. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't eat if music doesn't come out. You know, so like, I don't know what power struggle or what pride like would allow us to even do something like that. So ultimately, like, for real, these guys put music out. Sometimes they come to us 2 days before. That used to be Cannon's main thing. Because remember, we came at the transition from the physical age to the digital age.
Absolutely.
So I remember when Cannon would come to me and be like, yo, this kid wants to put a project out tomorrow. And I'd have to clear 10 beats, you know, and so on and so forth. Like, It's literally a feeling, and when they have the feeling, like they call me and the shit has to come out. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really get any benefit from like withholding or like saying something can or can't come out. You know, when it's ready, we're ready for that shit to come out too.
Yeah, I mean, and like he dropped pretty much two albums and back to back.
Yeah.
Is that I wondered too, because like you know, obviously your guys' kind of situation has been public. I in my head I thought, is he trying to put out, like, is he trying to get out of his deal as quick as possible? Because you know, there's like Drake will do, like Drake, you know, did that with the, you know, artists have done that, you know, in the past, like when or is it just the deluxe play? Because he kind of low key kicked that off.
The deluxe play off, yeah.
Just it's just a deluxe play.
I think it's just something you want to get off.
And I don't think he wanted to keep both vibes in that name. So it was like one half of the album was kind of like the first mixtape we had did. It was Uzi Vert versus the world. So he didn't want to keep everything because I think the Eternal Taki, he just wanted to have like this. You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
it's just something, you know.
And then with Jack, like your guys' story finding Jack, because you know, if you saw Jack Harlow when you guys first signed him, you know, he doesn't scream like superstar.
He looked like Napoleon Dynamite.
He looks like someone who works at the Geek Squad at Best Buy or something. You know what I mean? And he's from Louisville, which is like a place that's not known as like a talent hub.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Drum pretty much really kind of steered that in the direction. But again, when we all met, it's something that the guys have in their eye, and the way they carry themselves. It's like, bro, that's gonna be some work, but it's gonna work. You know what I mean? And that's, we all see it. We be like, man, we got to do that one. We got to. It don't matter what he looked like. It's the feeling. It was the energy that he had. He already had a squad with him. His producer was dope. His producer still is dope as hell. 2 for 1. You know, it just was there, and it was like, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? It didn't take too much.
And it's hard to get these guys to agree. Like, so it's 3 of us, right? And it's supposed to be 2 out of 3, but really I'm usually just the guy that's waiting to say yes.
Right.
Yeah. I bring a lot of stuff to the table, and it's hard as hell to really convince this guy, and it's hard as hell to convince him too. You know what I mean? So a lot of stuff that comes to the table, especially from our A&R staff, like it's a lot of stuff that's shot down. So when we see something that we like we really attach to.
I can imagine like the success of What's Poppin' had to really like. It had to be sweeter than a lot of stuff you guys have done before as Generation Now. Because I feel like at that time, people were kind of like, well, you know, with the Uzi shit being out there, and then, you know, Jack Harlow comes. Is it triple platinum?
I think
quadruple.
It's quadruple.
Yeah, like that. And the craziest part about that record was, I remember when we played it in the music meeting. And I'd already heard it on Spotify, and I loved the record, but it wasn't like a traditionally formatted song. Like when you first heard it, you're like, wait, I gotta figure out where the hook is, type shit. But how like sweet was that? Like it almost was like I felt like if I was y'all, I would have been like, yeah, motherfucker, we did it again.
We did at some point, but we also, like, us not staying in the public and doing too much chitter chatter made it even more sweeter.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Because we
saying?
never
So
really came out and
it was just
defended
like,
ourselves.
let's keep working, man, and just make
100%.
some shit.
Yeah,
Like, we
real
still had
shit.
the fun in it. And, you know what I mean? And to make it even better, we have been working with Jack, and he's been making these certain type of songs, and we always say to him, all 3 of us, yo, you can rap. But he always like, yeah, I know, but I got this vibe. I'd be like, you can rap. You know what I'm saying? So when that came out, I was like, bro, your first big record.
You're rapping.
You see what I'm saying? And he started out like that. Dark Knight was a rap record. And we just always stuck with that. You know what I mean? So that's what makes it sweeter, that we just put our head down and just kept working, and it just popped up. It wasn't like, oh, we got a hit, y'all, we ready. It was just like, man, we rock and rolling again. You know what I mean?
And I don't know, I you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, we've maneuvered through our careers. I don't necessarily want to say underdogs, but feeling like, yo, like, this is what we do. Like, we've been doing this a long time. We got to show you again, this is what we do. So it's like, you know, even through that, it was like, again, us not really being vocal about it and just working and, you know, having the results we have. It's like, you know, like, come on, guys. Like, duh, we've been telling you this for years. This is what we do.
Right.
We're going to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, it obviously it was definitely like, it was a sweet feeling, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, to come out through the year of 2020 and, you know, have such a productive, you know, moment for Generation Now.
Yeah, like, and I feel like too, you know, like you said, you guys kind of started this with the transitional period of where music was and how it was consumed, and especially now, right? Like, the playlisting shit is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's really like the gatekeepers of people's careers
Real
has just
shit.
gotten smaller.
Real shit.
You know what I mean? Like, it used to be like there was like 25 blogs that if you could get
Right.
on one,
Real
like
shit.
4 of them, like you could really, you know, now it's like you gotta, there's like this many people that choose the, like,
Little
who's
gatekeepers,
next.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm curious, what would be some advice you guys would give managers who are managing artists or just young artists who are up and coming, trying to navigate their way, who are dope, you know, maybe have a little bit of traction, but just trying to navigate their way through the current musical climate? Because I do feel like the first thing every artist wants to do is get on a playlist. And I'm not sure how like realistic that is for everybody.
Yeah.
No, it's hard.
No, that's a tough question because even when it comes to the playlist, like you know, I can only imagine what it's like, you know, coming from trying to make it, and you know, it's like, you know, damn near impossible to get on playlists. You know what I'm saying?
Hard,
So
to me, I feel like the DSPs are the new radio, in my opinion, and I think the first thing I would tell a young manager and a young artist is like, don't shortchange the process. Like, I think a lot of these kids, everything is so microwavable that they want everything so fast. Like, I get so many DMs every day, like, how can you put me in contact with, you know, a digital marketer that can get me on Rap Caviar? They're not asking to get on, you know, Realist Down South and take the steps up. They want to take the leap from where they are directly to the top. And, you know, I say this all the time, like, rap, to me, that's the only game that really doesn't have a system of checks and balances. Like, you know, there is a kid that can honestly make a song in his bathroom and get on Rap Caviar, but there's also a guy that's been rapping for 15 years that can't get on any playlist, you know? So what I would say is don't shortchange the process for real. If you love it, it's going to show. Like, the guys that are the big guys, the guys that are the ones, like, that are consistently the ones that we think about, those are the guys that put time and energy into this shit. Like, the guys that you think play around, they don't. Like, as simple as you think Uzi's music is, that kid literally lived in the studio all day, every day. He works on his melodies. He thinks about every concept. Another thing I would tell the kids is you know, and it's something that they've actually created is, you know, I think you need to blend the lifestyle with the music. A lot of people are attracted to the lifestyle before the music. So I think that's something that Uzi and Cardi, Playboy Cardi, who does a lot of work in here too, they've gotten kids attracted to the lifestyle, you know.
Yeah, they're into the personality, the person, even more than the music. Yeah.
So that makes them fall in love with the music, and I think that's the attraction that Uzi's fans have to his music. It's almost like an emotional attachment. They feel like they are him, you know. They feel like they are that kid that's going through the same emotional
I always say, if you can make people care about you and make good music, then, you know, it's just a matter of time. You just got to make people give a fuck about you. Because like you said, like, so many people are making music.
Right.
There's great music that we'll never hear because it's hard to be relatable, to have people give a fuck
real shit
about you.
Yeah.
Drum, I know you just did the Black Soprano Family Gangsta Grillz.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Benny,
Yeah.
who's out here in Atlanta now a lot. How active are you trying to be, like, still with, you know, doing that kind of shit? Like,
I'm all for it. You know, people come to me all the time, like, either ask if I'm still doing tapes or still show interest in doing tapes, you know. So, like, I'd love
and that
it.
one was on the DSPs.
Yeah, that was on the DSPs. You know, I just did one with Tyga.
Yeah, you did do one with Tyga. That's right.
Gun intro.
Yep, I was on. Yeah, shot the West Side Gun. I was on his album. So, you know, when it comes to tapes, like, you know, I'm not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do. This is, besides, you know, I mean, I'm as much as I'm an executive CEO, you know, label owner, fucking studio owner, I'll still go and DJ somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And rock. You know what I mean? So, I got some more projects coming this year, actually. That's gonna surprise some people when it comes to some tapes. So I'm looking forward to those.
He's being humble about that too. He's got some big shit.
Yeah, I got some shit coming.
So you on the new Drake album?
I got some shit coming.
Okay, for sure. So
Yeah.
Drake Gangsta Grillz coming.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. You
Of
know?
course.
I'm all for that.
He got some shit
Yeah, I got some shit coming.
coming.
That's it. So just randomly, like, did you ever get annoyed when the no DJ versions of your tapes would come out?
Well, yeah, because I felt like that happened because of me. Like, I literally feel like people got, but it was part of annoying, and it was part complimentary, you know, because one of the reasons why I think it started to happen is because a lot of music off the tapes, you know, would have to live in other places,
Right.
like
Like
with
on the
other
radio
DJs and radio
yeah.
and so forth. So, you know, they literally had to create that, you know what I'm saying? And I tried to, once that became a thing, I was like, all right, how can I navigate around this? So I was like, all right, let me kind of, fall back a little bit as far as how boisterous I am on the tapes to try to make people still not do a no DJ version. It didn't always work. They still did no DJ versions, but I'm one that kind of, I try not to get caught in like, I don't want to call it bitterness. Like, yo, if that's the way it is, all right, let me figure out how to work around this. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll do a Currency tape and Verde Terrace. I can't scream on a Currency's music the way I do fucking, whoever.
Or Little Brother. Or, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
So yeah, I mean, I took it as a form of compliment too. Like
I think we later grew into like, let them have it. There's so many people that
shit.
call us, be like, yo, can we get the Jeezy music with no talking on it? We go like, no, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you'd be at fucking whatever strip club across America I've been in, and they're playing the drama fucking version in the club, and it's Mr. Thanksgiving.
I think it was a little off, but I think a little bit, most 50% of it, I noticed when I meet people for the first time, they say, yo, and these people had great albums, great stories. They come to and be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, we just thought y'all was gonna turn us down on the tape, so we just did it without y'all. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And I don't know if I ever told you, I just random people I ran into, like, bro, I just didn't think about asking. I just thought it was a shot in the dark. Nobody was going, you wasn't gonna listen. Because there's so many people that used to hit us on MySpace. Like,
of course.
I still hear it to this day about some of these producers. They be like, bro, I used to hit you on MySpace, and you ain't respond.
Yeah, Boy Wonder used to send me packs every day.
You know what I'm saying? Boy Wonder, it's just so many people, and I think that's what happened a lot of that time. It's like, damn, no DJ version? It's like a lot of people just ain't saying ass. Like,
but still, to this day, people will tell you that it's just not the same.
It's not the same.
It's
There's a lot of projects
they
don't feel the same.
It's not the same.
Nah, for sure. Yeah. Cannon, on the production side, what do you work, like, do you have any shit coming soon? Or, like, I know you're working with everybody. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy as 2020 was, man. I was 25 placements in, just quietly.
He quietly had a crazy year.
I really had, about 30, but there's some that just didn't go across, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just, that's quiet because they say the new producer gets 3 placements a year, and I'm 41, still getting 25 to 30.
It's crazy.
So I'm happy for that. This year is probably going to be even better because last year I set my goal to make 500 beats in 1 year, and I normally don't work that hard, and I did it. So I have tons of leftovers. So if you watching this, you're going to get a pack.
Tap in for some beats.
I'll send you a pack. I mean, you just said you seen Killer Mike. I've been working with him on the low, really, and
I think you heard it.
Yeah,
I heard
he told
the record.
me. Yeah,
I heard the record.
Yeah, so I've been working with him. We talk on the phone 2 hours about everything, and then the last 30 minutes would be like, yo, music. I got bars. I'm gonna show you the pad. Because a lot of times me and Killer Mike been trying to work since 2008.
Fire.
And it just never worked. But it wasn't like.
This is your first time getting in?
Absolutely.
Oh shit.
But he's always,
it's crazy.
Bro, when you sit down for 5 minutes, send me some beats. And I would send him beats. Even through Run the Jewels, it was like, he's like, yo, I'm going to do the Run the Jewels. But when I get off of my own, I'm going to do it. So this is one of them, like, pet peeve projects that I'm like, okay, finally about to do something. But the record that he just sent me, he didn't even tell me he was sent. He just sent it to me. He didn't say a word. I was like, oh, okay.
Nice. But that's probably the one I heard, yeah.
What's fire about Cannon, too, on the production is, like, the same way we navigate just kind of, like, eras and genres. He does on the production side, too. Like, he's in with, generational artists as well as new niggas and, like, young niggas coming up. So it's like Cannon can play in a lot of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
A lot of realms.
Wiz just dropped a mixtape. I'm on that. It's just so much, but production is
Herbo shit.
Yeah, Herbo. I'm just trying to really my next wave is Seti Hendrix, really, because I I know what he.
So you're
is.
like honed in with him.
Yeah, there. I had to just chop myself off. People were saying I was using a bad word with him, but I called him the Trap R. Kelly, and because he has like trap antics.
Not because he's pissing on women.
Nah, it's not. He has, bro. His melodies.
No, they're crazy.
Are retarded, and he could do so much. And it's like, bro, it reminded me with some like Woman's Threat, like R. Kelly joints, and like some of them joints. And I was like, yo, he need like pain, but on that level pain. Like he talking that shit, but it's like Woman's Threat. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like some
right.
real shit. And I think that once I let him get off what he got to get off now, just to be in the street, I'm just going to jump into like, okay. I tried it once. We had Hands Down, which was a dope ass record. And it did well for people, but I want to just kind of bring him into where he could see like, oh shit, now I'm cooking with gas. You know what I mean? So
well, you got
focus on that.
You mentioned SETI. Run down before we wrap up. Like you guys have a full roster, so kind of what's next, who's next, and give everybody kind of the rundown on what's next for the label.
I mean, Jack off to a wonderful start. You know what I mean? Uzi's off to a great start. Pretty sure he's ready to drop this year. SETI he's moving through a situation where we got two new videos that's about to drop that's gonna be crazy, but still working on the projects. And we also got Illuminati, which is a fan favorite on TikTok and all them. Just been a fan favorite though.
Dope
This
female
is not
rapper,
no new success. She's been in this space for about 4 years.
Right.
Carvina Jones is a R&B artist we tapped into. I think that secretly we've always did a lot of music. Like I started off my first mixtape John was selling was an R&B mixtape. Lake's always been in the R&B world. He knows that like the back of his hand. Right. Always been in it with relaxation tapes and just different things. And I think that we're gonna bust open a whole nother space when we get her going. She's a special, great talent.
Right.
And those are things I was focusing with now, but I think mostly the
SETI's kind of the next step.
Yeah, I just feel it. You know how you feel something?
Yeah. No, I feel the energy too.
I feel it. It's just going one connection, and then everybody gonna be like, "Yo," you know what I'm saying?
So take that one record too.
That's it.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, look, I appreciate y'all sitting down with me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you coming out, man. How you like the spot?
I love the studio, and you guys are killing it, man.
So, fun fact: the room we're in now, What's Poppin' was made in here.
Okay.
It was probably the first record that was made in this building, in the New Generation Now building, which we built this building because of the success of Lil Uzi and Generation Now from starting in Main Streets. Wow.
First record.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. So,
special room in here.
Shout out to all those guys, man. Shout out to the whole roster. Shout out to Uzi.
And
Jack,
I just want to shout out Jack Harlow for keeping Caucasian humor alive. Because he'll be saying shit.
Bro, it's like none other.
Dude, no, but it's like, it's me.
White boy humor.
That white boy, I always tell him, I'm like, bro, these motherfuckers don't get white boy humor. It just hits different.
I may need like an hour more to hear your white boy humor.
Yeah.
It's suspect as fuck.
It's not like him.
No.
Yours is?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can get away with murder.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to call it murder.
The gayest shit, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's Will Ferrell to the
He tries to, you know what I mean, put that in our group chat and we...
Dude, these guys...
We curved the shit out of them.
Yeah, these guys hate my guts. Anyway, well, listen. You guys, I'm looking forward to your year on the producer side.
Thank you, bro.
Drama. I know, was it last year you put out the record with West Side Gun?
Was it
the year before?
Was it last year? It was last year.
It was last year. We got something brewing.
Some more drama.
New drama.
Yeah, I got some shit coming.
All right, well, listen,
Yeah.
be on the lookout. And, Lake, you're...
I don't have anything coming.
Yes, he does. Money.
Money.
He got all the money. He has all the money.
Where the money resides. Yeah.
Money, and he's also the founder of the Paul George fan club.
Wow.
I am a Laker fan.
He loves PG-13.
PG can ball. Yes, he can ball. He can ball.
PG don't hate me, but you know what I mean? We have arguments about this. I ain't gonna say that.
PG, you can ball, bro.
All right, there it is. Perfect, man.